Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka LTClisa, and today is a Truth Tuesday. So we've got Satoshi Sean joining us, and we are getting rid, saying goodbye, doubling down on 2025, and going to see what apparently the Catholics are too. They're saying goodbye to the Jubilee year. I think they forgot a few of us. We'll see what Sean has to say about all that right after this. Be sure to like and share the video and jump in the live chat. Hey, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all the things. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hey, Gazoo. Hey, everybody.
Happy New Year, Coffee.
Hope
Happy
everyone had a
New
great
Year.
Christmas.
Yes. You had all your grandbabies come in.
Yeah, it was small.
A little hard
But yeah,
candy Christmas there at
it was
Grandpa
nice having
Sean's.
them. Yeah. And Oliver, I got him that painting.
Yes.
It did not make it here on time.
Oh.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed. But the company was really nice because I went to their AI, chat thing, and even the AI is like, yeah, there might be a problem with that. I'm like, yeah, you said that the label was created like 6 days ago, and it's still not moved. So they're like, you should email the humans. So I emailed them. They're like, yeah, it'll be there, might be close. And they're like, nope, it's not. And like, hope it didn't need to be there by Christmas. I'm like, yeah, it was my grandson's present.
Yeah, kind of
Like,
needed to be there.
oh, I'm so sorry. They gave me a refund. They're
Oh,
like, oh, sorry, but that's sad. Here's a refund. I'm sorry.
so does
I was
that
like,
mean it's not coming back?
no, it was already shipped to them. And it was just nice, but
Wow.
still got a day late. But it was, I can't like get mad at them. It was the post office, But they delivered it the day after, and then the one thing he asked me for also day after. But he was happy with Ted and Alex got him. I got him like, oh, I forget. Nora, I just got her a bunch of because she got a game system in her room, so she's
Oh,
likes to watch physical media like cartoons and stuff. So I
okay.
got her a bunch of like cartoon series, on Blu-ray, so she could watch it in her room. And
I
so
want to say welcome back to our friend Ronnie. I have not seen her in quite a while. I saw her on a chat on a friend's channel just the other day, and I thought, wow, I need to jump in there, and I couldn't get on quick enough to say hi. So funny that I would see her back on our channel.
hey, Ron.
Maybe
Hey, Rick.
the stars are aligning. Yeah, hi Rick.
Hey,
Good to
Nana. Good to see all y'all.
good to see you all back. Maybe the stars are aligning. I don't know. There was something else she said that triggered my mind for well, I'll think of it later. But the Jubilee is here. The Catholics are beginning to close the doors. I guess there's this whole, like, of course, the Catholics, have everything has like a big dramatic process and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the page? Oh, goodness. Oh, they're all out of order. My tabs are all out of order.
I did notice like the thing you sent me about the Jubilee. That, they talk about the year of hope and all that, but the Jubilee was for debt forgiveness. That was the whole thing.
That's what I thought.
Jubilee, yeah, your debts are forgiven, so you can start over. But they didn't mention that.
Yeah. But it actually ends in the article that I saw. It ends July or June. No, I'm sorry, January. Let me get my date straight. January 6th. So there's a chance it runs through.
Interesting.
Which we have lots of interesting things that happen on J6 here in the good old USA.
Well, I came out of my room yesterday. I think it was yesterday. maybe the day before. Anyway, the tree is down, and I was shocked and angry. And I was like, "Why is the tree down?" And Ted said, oh, "Alex asked me to take it down." And I said, "Why would he ask you that? Why did you do that?" He goes, "Well, it's Christmas over." I was like, "What are you talking about? The tree stays up till the 6th. Stays up till Epiphany. That stays.
That's
The tree
what
stays until the Magi come to the manger. That's the end of the Christmas season. That's when you take your lights down. That's when you take your tree down. That's I've taught you that. Like, you're insane, Dad.
I thought I taught you that. Yeah.
Never said that before. You're making this up. And I'm like, every freaking year. It's your born. I've told you that. I learned it from Elvis, but I've always, that's it. And so Alex came home. He's like, "No, you're making that up. We never done that. You never told us that." I was like, "That's not true. I have been saying that forever." So I have to. Hopefully, Nick will back me up when he comes over. But they do this all the time. They'll be, "Oh no, you're like something never existed, or something never happened." They're like, "No, it never happened. No, it never existed. You're making that up." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." They're like, "No,
That's
you're
cool.
insane." So
Well, sometimes we have to be reminded, even of family traditions and things like this. But yeah, you were bringing this up about that it was originally about Jesus coming and getting rid of some of the laws. He came not to. I was watching the Sean Ryan interview with Lee Strobel, and he was talking about Jesus came not to forgive us from, but not to get rid of the laws, but to fulfill right, the promises or whatever. And basically, it's like that. Who taught me about the usury thing? Zach. From the Legacy Right was teaching me about how kind of like the Fed, how the Fed prints money out of nothing. The Jews created, there was this black hole in the money system back in the day for loaning or lending. And so the Jews kind of stepped up at the time and filled this need where they would loan people money, but then they would charge interest. So it wasn't just that like, oh, my friend needed something, so they borrowed it and then they returned it and made me whole. They would also charge interest, which was, I guess, not biblical. And was considered a sin. So it was called usury, and usury is technically a sin in the Bible. This is what Zach was telling me. And so apparently you were saying before we got started that was one of the things that the Jubilee was to remove the debt, to remove the sin of usury.
And to remove the power that having money and debt over someone, because you technically are a slave to your debt. If you're working and you're in debt, you don't have that money. You're working for the debtors.
Boy, it sure feels that way. I saw, there's the whole thing coming out about Minnesota, and now we're seeing it in Ohio and all these other states. They said that in Minnesota, the amount of theft that's come to the taxpayers, that's gone to the Somalian country, exceeds Somalia's GDP.
Really?
Yes.
You mean the money they sent to Somalia, or the money they gave to the Somali daycare things?
The Somali daycare fraud. And it's not just daycare, but it's also done through Medicaid. So they were pretending or having their children diagnosed with like ADD or autism, and then creating these clinics and there's many different forms of fraud. It's not just the daycare.
I think I was thinking about this today, as a matter of fact. I think that this should be a whole new crime, because like if you do a certain thing, it's a crime. Like, there's hate crimes and there's other things. You change an existing crime, and I think that's wrong. I think it's stupid. I don't think there's a date rape. I think there's a rape. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I
But
agree.
if you come to a country to set up shop and to rob its people and to commit
Mhm.
crime, I think that should be
It's
different
fraud.
than
Yeah.
just fraud. You know what I mean? Because it was like premeditated. You came to the. You're not even. You came here to commit the crime. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, let's go to this country, and then we will take the taxpayers' money and we'll steal it. It's a whole. I think it should be a different crime than just fraud. You know,
I
and
mean, I would think it's a war crime. It's a form of infiltration. Um, can you imagine if Americans did this in any other country? Well, in fact, they may have. Some may have.
see, our government would, but people wouldn't. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You know, it's these are people committing the crime. I don't know, man. I'm thinking, number one, you get out of the country, they're gone. But there has
Well,
to
but
be
should
something more.
should they, or should they stand trial here as a
No,
like a war crime?
because because it's not going to be that way. But they're going to have a better life in jail than they would sending them back there. I'm thinking that Venezuela prison thing. That's if you come here to commit a crime, we shouldn't send you back to your country. We should send you there,
Mm.
not our country. I don't think you should go into our system because it's going to be better than where you came from, most likely. But there has to be something scary to, hey, if we go to America, we need to watch our P's and Q's. We need to we don't want to commit crimes if we're
Right.
coming here as a as a refugee, as an immigrant, whatever. We need to we need to stick to the plan,
Well,
and
and
try to
some
make
kind
it
of
better.
financial clawback depending on what system they use. Because, like, Johnny talks about all the time that businesses, uh, especially small businesses, can really be affected by these clawbacks for up to 6 months. Well, why can't something like that be used in this case if they were transferring um, funds? Find out how they were transferring the funds and claw them back.
Mhm.
You know, that's a possibility. There's no way that's not a possibility. If they can
Yeah,
do it with Visa and MasterCard, I'm sure they can do it.
and I keep thinking how you can hate Trump, you can hate uh, Vance, but dude, how lucky are we to not have gotten Waltz? This dude is just bad. He's
Oh, he's
doubling
smart.
down.
His name, one of some of the, at least one of the child care centers, the phone number goes back to his office.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he's even their own news agencies are like, did he really just say that? I don't know if you've seen it, but this dude did that. That big expose. He went around to the places. There's no kids there, and he's like, "Why have you got $3 million for this little daycare? And where's your kids? They're not here today." Well, I want my kids to enroll. I've heard it's a great place. Can I have the paperwork? Oh, we don't have any paperwork. It's
And then
um,
she said she felt afraid because of how he looked.
but
And he
then
goes, "What do you mean how
Waltz
I
comes
look?"
out. Waltz comes out and says,
Oh,
when a person who's a white supremacist goes out and does the white supremacist news story and targets an ethnicity because they're white supremacist, this is what you get. It's all fake, all BS. And I'm like, what? Even like the newscasters were like, uh, yeah, he said that. I mean, it's obvious fraud. There's so many. I don't know. And and I saw something. Bondi said this, and let's see convictions, and let's see convictions of real people. That's
well,
what I like to
so
see.
far, she said that there have been, like, she didn't say there were going to be. I'm going to pull this up again. She said there had been, let me read this. Uh, there have been charged, 85 Somalian nationals have been charged
Hmm.
regarding ongoing fraud, and there will be with more prosecutions coming. So to say that they've been charged, is taking action.
That is taking action, but you've been in that system when it comes to like fostering and all that kind of stuff. Imagine how many government people had to look the other way or had to take part in that for these billions of dollars. Those
I'm telling, and for daycare, they have to come to the daycare center and do like checks and
Yeah.
look at their little fire extinguishers and their doors and all that. So there are many complicit individuals
those
involved.
are the people I want to see arrested. Those
Yeah.
people in government, and I want to for I want like real penalty, not resignations or something like that. I mean, people need to really, really go to jail.
Yeah, I agree.
What is that noise?
Sorry, I turned my Telegram on for a minute
Oh.
to read that, so I'll turn it back off.
I thought you were doing it with your hands again.
No, it's not more hand signals.
Okay.
Balloons will not start popping up just yet. Yeah. There was a thing though that I read on a like Q site or whatever that said, remember in the Q boards it said misspellings matter, and one of the signs said Leering Center, and if you think about leering, that's like so these child centers, were they actually, well, you couldn't see the children, but there may have been children there. Were they fronts for some kind of child trafficking thing? We don't even know how deep that could have gone. So there's just a lot more there that they need to look into. They also receive PPP loans, they found in a lot of the investigation. And those PPP loans were then dismissed or excused, forgiven. And so for them to have all of that money, and we're talking millions of dollars.
It's in the billions. It is insane.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There's like a little mom and pop place, and they got like $4 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Well, what they say, it was the GDP or more than the GDP of Somalia.
Yeah.
We're talking that kind of amount. Yeah. From just Minnesota. And part of that was because, why Minnesota? Well, Minnesota is sparsely populated. It's way up north. It's freezing cold. There's not a lot of population. So it was a state that could easily be taken over by a culture which populates very quickly in themselves. And then they were able to overwhelm and bring in their own culture and then take over the voting population. Like if you think about if any small town were to be overrun quickly, and then all of a sudden it's voting day, and the people that have all been living there for years, their vote doesn't count anymore. And that's what when people say, oh, we should just let everybody in, and that's how a culture, that's what happened to Ireland, that's what happened to Scotland, that's what happened to these small countries, and they opened the doors under DEI kind of political correctness crap, and they lost their cultures, and now they're fighting back, trying to regain their culture and their nations. But there's something to say about being proud of your own culture, and that doesn't mean that they can't also be proud of their culture in Somalia. But you don't have to give up your culture here and be a doormat.
The Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, which is insane. That's where my stepdad's family's from. He's up there, lives on a lake. But it's always been a big epicenter of the United States, like George Floyd, Minnesota. Yeah, the huge music scene, Prince, everybody came out of Minnesota. Minneapolis, it's like it's always been like a big, I don't know, like a part of the American zeitgeist. Um, I always thought that was kind of interesting, but yeah, it does get cold. Um, but then it gets real. It's like they have seasons. It's a very nice. They have like four real, very distinct seasons. Um, which Ted's went up there. He went up there and visited them. He said it was really, really pretty. I loved it up there. Uh, yeah, the Mall of America.
Mhm.
Um,
I spoke up there once at a orphan conference. God, it's been years ago, probably
how did the
15.
orphans get there? Do they have cars? In
The
orphan
Christian, I can't remember what the name of it was. It's a long time ago.
Somalia, that's I don't know. And then like is their country involved? Is it is their government involved in getting people over here to get money over there? I don't know, man, but it needs to be looked at and stopped. Um, and that's just like Omar. It's like everyone. It was a super crazy conspiracy theory that she married her brother, and now it's like the Area 51 effect I was talking about.
Hmm.
People have it's illegal.
And not only that part of it, but they're also dismissing the fact that she lied about her age to try to say that she would be qualified under her father's citizenship. Um,
So it's just like
to then allow her brother to be able to come in as her husband.
there's so many things. It's like
Yeah,
do something then,
yeah,
you know. But it's because like you've been given these little spoon-fed little bits. It's like the way it is. No, it's not not the way it
yeah.
is. Happy New Year, I am.
Hey, I am. Howdy, howdy. Happy New Year. Is it? I hope it is. I hope it is.
I hope it will be.
I
I
hope
hope
it
it will
will
be
be.
a good New Year. Are you doing anything for New Year's?
No, I'm taking my mother to the doctor.
Something interesting. We have a weird, which that was a weird family tradition. Always did it. Um, never had a problem doing it till this year. This is a rough year for everyone financially. It's been like I've noticed because everyone has had like a layoff or something. That I know it's been not it's not even spread out. It's everybody. So anyway, um, for New Year's, we used my family would always eat pickled herring creamed, like in yeah pickled fish and onions in a sour cream
Oh.
on black bread. I actually like it.
Like
But
rye?
yeah, dark bread. Yeah,
Okay.
a dark pumpernickel bread, which you can't find black bread here down south, but you can order it anyway. It's not a problem getting pickled herring. They always have those jars of it. And Avery HEB, Walmart, everyone's sold out of it. I think people are like doing the superstition stuff this year. I think like people are.
Oh,
I think probably black eyed peas are going to be sold out.
yeah. That's the one thing my dad and my mom
Yeah,
always did was black
yeah.
eyed peas.
And
Yeah.
so many people are like, I'm not eating the black eyed peas. I'm not doing that. I think everyone's like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try this year because it's crazy. And then the pickled herring, there's things online. It's like $60 for a little jar, and they're like $7 usually. So I think it's like the what is it that the pizza um the pizza metric in Washington. Whenever like all uh, pizza orders go up,
Yes.
there's gonna be war. There's gonna be
Around the Pentagon.
yeah, yeah. That's like one of the most accurate metrics they have for problems.
Well, and they did just the super supreme the super the, the supreme pizza the Supreme Court just passed a thing because about Trump sending in troops or whatever. They said they shouldn't be sending in the National Guard. He should be sending in regular troops, but that's only as an insurrection. Well,
See, that's harder to do. Yeah, that's harder
we're
to do.
leading up to Jubilee on J6, which was originally when they accused him of issuing. Remember when he said, go home? He said all the things that would have been appropriate for an insurrection, and then they said he had the insurrection on J6. Well, maybe we are really leading up to a true insurrection on the J6, because like Coffee and Stock said, in numerology, 2026 is number 1, which represents the new start. And then I said, yeah, 2026 is 2, which is 2 plus 6, which is 2 8s, which is 88. And, in Q posts, 88 is the number when we get to 88. So, is 2026 the 88? Back to the Future. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess.
We will find out. I don't know. I really just don't know. I'm so
tired of guessing.
Yeah, I'm just tired of all of the BS stuff, just want to see something get fixed. Hopefully it seems like we're friends with Ukraine again. With Zelensky and Trump are buddies again. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah. I don't know. Just tired of my money going to pay for killing people.
Yes.
For people to die,
There's a lot of people calling for, kind of a protest of taxes and stuff like that. Just saying like they feel powerless and, watching all this stuff happen. And even Bondi saying, we're, arresting or have charges against these 96 people. Okay, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But how about all these other issues in the world, that the other big things that are happening that there aren't any charges happening on? And it's like they're almost throwing us a bone with, oh, well, look, we're going to go after these fake daycare centers, but we're not going to do anything about Epstein.
Yeah.
We're not going to do anything about the stolen election that we have proof of, and we're going to leave Tina Peters in.
Yeah, that whole thing with Georgia's being like, I don't know, man. There needs to be more. There's no accountability. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when all this stuff gets proven with the Georgia thing, I think that should be like anyone that the whole Rudy Giuliani is just people are like, so you're gonna make this guy whole now because everything he said was true. No,
you can never make him whole from that.
But no one. There's no apology. There's no even acknowledgement of being wrong. There's acknowledgement that it happened, but not that, oh yeah, we said that it didn't happen. Oh, because there has to be something like that, because it just makes more adversarialness. That's like Sean Ryan. For like three or four times, he's done videos that are like, hey, I messed up. I said this and it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Totally wrong. Messed up. I thought this is why I was wrong. Sorry about that. No one. It was weird to see that, and it shouldn't be weird to see that.
It shouldn't be, yeah.
But and it was like a little thing. Like he said that the county commissioners in his county weren't paying the police enough, and he's like, they had actually passed something where they started paying them like 2 months before that, so they're doing what they should do. I was wrong on that. Who gives a crap about your county commissioners that you mentioned?
Well, but he wanted to make it right for himself. The only thing that I have seen is I saw CNN get on and do a stiff backpedal because they were scared to death because they've seen Trump go after BBC and have a huge lawsuit for accusing for false statements. And so CNN has quickly and boldly said, Trump has nothing to do with Epstein. We have seen no ties connected to Trump and Epstein. We're not accusing. They have made these very clear statements that Trump has nothing to do with Epstein, which I think is quite funny to watch them.
No, the BBC thing is funny because
They're so afraid of the
they're
lawsuits.
wrong. Everyone knows they're wrong. Like even like Ricky Gervais was like, "Wow, they're really a piece of shit. They're wrong."
Mhm.
But these ads are like, "Don't let the American president destroy the greatest institution we've given to the world." It's like not we messed up, but
Mhm.
oh, it would be so terrible if we were to be, taken down. If it's I don't know. It's sad. It's sad that they're having to resort to that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think news in general, I think it lost a lot of its credibility, but now it's literally because of how they operate. It is us versus them. It's I get my news here, I don't get news there, but then these people lie to you just as much as those people,
Mhm.
but they tell you what you want to hear, and it's not going to change unless you have someone like Sean Ryan who stands up and's like, "I made a mistake. I'm wrong. This was wrong." Just report the news. That's what they don't do
And
that.
let the people decide for
Yeah,
themselves.
they don't do that anymore.
Mhm.
They used to have to say this is an editorial. This is editorialized.
Mm.
This is just the news. This happened. That's it. Um, yeah, brainwashing.
Yeah.
It's that's the thing. I think we've created it now, coffee, where it's not just mainstream. That we've created it's so adversarial that all news, even alternative stuff now, you're not going to get real news. It's very hard to get because everything is so partisan. Everything is so us versus them that you can't just watch someone and be like, "This happened." It's you're going to get someone's opinion, which is not. You're supposed to be able to form your opinion, and maybe that goes back to the whole thing of people that don't want people to be able to think critically and make their own judgments and make their own opinions.
Mhm.
If you can't get real information to form your own opinion, you're literally just being given an opinion to have.
Yeah, that's very true. And then they want to find a victim in it, like you were saying, like, or they think they want to empower people to be victims in it. That's the other part that's really a dangerous slope,
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of partisan stuff, what do you think about Mondami and
well,
his?
isn't he supposed to take office here pretty soon?
Yeah, what do you think about his fire chief thing? The whole
Oh, I guess I don't know about the fire chief thing.
oh, well, jeez, you know what my opinion is very balanced on it, which is going to piss people off. So he appointed a fire chief, and if you check out the news over here, they'll say he appointed a fire chief who's never been a firefighter,
Oh, I did hear about this.
and then
And they're gay or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's super gay, but
yeah.
like who cares? Like, and that's another thing. Who cares who people have sex with in their job? When it comes to your job, it's like, why is that even brought up? Why
Well,
is
why
that?
do they tell people?
Why is it brave or not brave or
Yeah,
like who? It doesn't
yeah.
matter. It's
Mhm.
literally like a hobby. Like oh, and they also do woodworking. It's okay. Um, but she was an EMT for years, and then she became the head of all the EMTs for New York. That's a pretty good. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's not like a moron. Where it's like that's how it's portrayed if you look at it. Um, but by the same token, yes, she was. I'm sure picked for because she likes to have sex with broads. I mean, if that's an actual reason, That was, I mean, why would you bring that up unless that's one of the reasons you hired her? It's just stupid. Um, and then you, and especially with the fire thing, if you look at LA, and you have to put people in those jobs that are qualified. And she said, I know what the fire chiefs need because I've worked with fire chiefs for years. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You're the head of the EMTs, so she does have some knowledge. She's not like a complete moron that's being thrown in there. Um, Also, I don't live in New York. That's another thing. It's like, you can give your opinion, but I'm not going to get emotional about it, or really, because I don't care.
Right. I don't know. She may have been the best candidate available. There may not have been a previous fire chief available or somebody that is a better
And
candidate.
also, if you got a guy who's been a fireman for 25 years, but he has no administrative experience, he's just kicking in doors, he's super brave, whatever, buff guy. He's not, I don't want him as the head of the fire department who's got to allocate funds and do all this management. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not as good as she is. She was the head of all the EMTs. If she did a good job as being
Right.
the head of all the EMTs, that's a big management plus. So, but that's the thing. You can't form that opinion,
They
unless
just
you
want you
really
to be
work.
mad one way
Yeah.
or the other. Yeah.
Either, someone who's never been a fireman and is a lesbian, is a DYI or whatever. That's it. That's this side. And this side, oh, she's the best person in the world. It's just, what's her credentials? And then, okay. And then I don't live in New York. So, I'm sorry if shit sucks, then you learn your lesson. Because
Yeah.
they've learned a lesson in California. I think everybody now wants to know if the water, where the water goes to, and who's in charge of this, and if this is full of water, and that's all important now.
Well, and that is that's what Beatles talks about, is getting involved in the local level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important. Where do you live? Well, who's in charge there? They're getting ready to do all these local elections here. And, I mean, we're just learning, we're just moving here. So we're just learning about these people. We don't know these people. So we're like, asking all these questions. And,
Yeah. And also, you can't trust your government. You just can't. Like all those people trusted that there was going to be plenty of firemen and that they were going to be able to hook up their hoses and have water, and they just trust. Nobody questioned whether that was going to be available. And I guess we need more busybodies. Like we used to have in the old days. But seriously, I mean, if the old lady Beasley called the fire department and said, "Oh, we've got no rain for 2 weeks. Do you have enough water?" And then
I saw these damn kids over playing on the fire hydrant.
Bothered the fire chief enough so that he bothered someone else so that they, think about it. It would, I don't know, but that's like I said, you just care more about where you live, and make sure to be involved and to just question and don't trust. Don't trust.
It's a sad place to be, but
yeah.
But it's also, I mean, you don't have to be nasty about it. You can just be involved. Just ask the questions.
Yeah.
And then say, where can I help? Where should I be involved?
Mm-hmm.
So finding those places and, yeah. And
we have to start thinking differently.
Government, it can be neighbors helping each other. I think about when I was, working with the church and stuff, we'd have tornadoes because we're in Oklahoma, and sure enough, tornadoes would come in, and whatever local church there was, well, they'd make a call out to the other churches. Hey, we're going to do a cleanup day this Saturday or whatever. And whoever can come help, and whoever could come help would come help. And then maybe some other church would be like, well, we're going to come bring, a cooktop and make burgers, when the tornado siren test thing goes off, because every Saturday in Oklahoma, there's it's noon because the tornado sirens go off as a test.
Every week?
Every week. Yes, every Saturday. So that's how everybody knows it's lunchtime on a Saturday in Oklahoma. So then, that's how another community would come to jump in and help. And so and I'm just using church as a form of community. It might be your CrossFit club or gym or whatever. It might be your, golf group. It might be the bunch of little old men who sit at the Waffle House on, in the morning or whatever that community group is, or your family or whatever. But whatever you can do to kind of say, and it doesn't always have to be a crisis. It can just be, part of being a part of your community.
Something about the community thing and all that. Something I thought was interesting. I made the point that with the government shutdown, it was interesting what they made sure was paid was the poor having the food and
the military,
and the people with the guns. Yeah, the military and cops. Those they made sure that money was there, no problem. But there's been these statistics that have come out now that churches, food pantries, food banks, their donations spiked incredibly high when the shutdown happened, and when there wasn't SNAP, and when there was that uncertainty, they went up like 700%, like overall, or like 400 and something percent. It's insane how much
the community was okay with giving directly,
right? The way it was supposed to run. So, but they're not really, because that's like they start to report that, but then like, oh wait, that's kind of the libertarian way of doing things. That's the less government involvement. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. But yeah, and they
go ahead. I'm sorry.
They do a good job.
But that's how foster care. So when I was going through foster care training, they do a history piece about foster care in Oklahoma. And I know I've said this story a million times, but it always shocks me. But so that's how, in America, it used to be that community, they came across in little covered wagons, and little towns would pop up, and the community usually had a church, and that was kind of the community center, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And people knew there were small groups, that were formed around. Everybody knew the families in the area. And so if somebody didn't show up for church, or they didn't see them, at the store or wherever, then somebody would go check on that family.
A busybody. Yeah,
a busybody. There you go.
Crash it across the way.
If there was a family in trouble, dad got sick, mom got sick, something, then some other families would come together, and maybe they needed to watch the kids for a while because mom was sick after just having the new baby, or whatever that was, whatever those different issues were. And so that came together. Well, so the first case of children being taken in by the government, for lack of better terms, was that there were these children who were basically living feral underneath a home because the parents had issues. I don't remember the exact issues, but and they had a pound or animal control in the town that was paid for by the city. Like they had a police and they had animal control. And so they called animal control to come pick up these children because nobody wanted to take the children in. And so they wanted their taxes to take care of these children. And so where typically it would have been the church or the community, because people knew each other and they had community and family. And, when we stopped living multi-generational and we stopped being smaller communities.
That's a big thing, because people talk about the nuclear family. Now we got to get to you've lost. When we went to the nuclear family, you lost the compound family. That long term, that's where we were at our strongest. That's where you have your 10 acres, your 20 acres, and your kids build a house there, and you grow your own community. It starts with your family.
Well, and then you don't have to worry about inheritance tax and
Yeah.
death tax and them losing the family farm because someone's always living on the family farm.
Also, you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
meat because Nana has chickens, and we don't have
Yeah.
to worry about milk because you've got, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
everybody does the part. You've got the green thumb, so
Well,
you're,
Nana does that too.
but
Yeah.
but we used to have families that would do
Mhm.
that, and we're starting to move to that way of thinking again. And it's, even friends. People are like, hey, we're just gonna, me and my buddy are going in together. We're getting 20 acres, and we're gonna start like a
Yeah.
homestead. And it's like doing the voting with the ink on your finger. It's going back to what worked,
Yes.
and it worked fine to where we had the most prosperous, country in the world. Um, but the church thing, church has failed in many ways. Many churches have, and it's by compromising. That's one
Yeah.
thing that what's his name, Andrew Tate, has it 100% right. That's why Muslims are growing like crazy. It's because they don't compromise. There's clear right and wrong. There's not like, oh, abortion's okay this year, but maybe 2 years from now it's not. Oh, it's okay to do this and that. No, being gay is wrong. Being gay is not that bad. Being gay is okay. It's like very clearly defined, and a moral compass, and that's why it's my like Oliver, my grandson. Ted was over there, and he was like, "What's the deal with this God?" And everyone's like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, what's the deal with this God? I don't get the deal. What's the big deal? What's everybody so freaked out about this God for? What's going on?" I wasn't there, but I was
Hmm.
like, "See, this is a Seinfeld impression." But
Mm.
yeah,
Well, I think the church, I mean, for me, my experience has been that the church became a machine, and they started counting the numbers um, of, the church that I was involved with was a mega church. It wasn't always, but it became a mega church. And they started counting the numbers coming in the front door and not the ones going out the back door. And then
right.
they justified it as, well, that was their place. That was how they were serving God, was by being that
And,
welcoming.
and they would make compromises to get more
And
in
they
the front
made a
door.
lot of compromises because of that. And and then there was a machine, a middleman, a leadership team that got in between the message and the people. And when you look at, like, biblically, a church leader is supposed to know his flock, know his church. Well, you can't know your flock or your church when you are a mega church. You can't know, and I can't remember who I was talking with, and they said, like, the most you can know is up to 150 people
No, you can. I think I disagree with that. I think you can know
and
your
have good
what's a mega
actual
church.
relationships with it, maintain relationships.
You're getting kind of judgmental because you're judging what they're, because it's the pastor's job to
No,
lead.
this was a conversation. I don't remember
What do you think of mega church, or what's the number?
I don't know. They're all over the world. They're
Yeah, but
huge.
like, what's a big church, and what is the cutoff to where, oh, there's too many people?
Oh, I don't know. What I'm telling you is that I watched something. I had a conversation with somebody. I don't remember what it was at this time. I can get resources and we can have this conversation again later. But there was either a study or some kind of information where they were talking about, like, to have actual, like, relationships, maintain relationships. Like, it's not possible for more than 150 people. Like, you
And I
can
think
have acquaintances,
you can have more than 100 people
whatever.
at that. That's like 10 families in the church. So you can have, because we came to Texas. I'd never seen a mega church. That's not, well, like, I've been to Catholic mega, the huge, like famous churches in like New York and stuff. But we came here and there was tons of people, and there were just chairs. There weren't pews. Um, there was, like, like a rock band. It was a very different atmosphere, and but like the pastor knew, everybody. He came to our house for dinner a couple times. Um, so I think you can, because you've also got like a youth pastor, you've got assistant pastor. So and that's the thing. It has to be structured to where the uh, the tasks are spread around. But I think that, like we're saying, it's because of the compromises. It's not because of, I think, the size or anything like that. Um, and I mean, I have more than 150 friends. I have relationships with all of them. But if you tell me people, I mean, I'm myself was 5 people, because I have 4 kids. So that's literally like only 20
But they
of
don't know
me.
each of they don't have a relationship with each of your children as well.
Well,
They
that's
have
the
a
thing. If you're
relationship
saying
you
150 people, then
with
those
you.
my kids are there. So you're talking about like adults, or that's what I'm saying. The number, when you get the number thing, it's too confusing. Um, if you can, you can. If it's too many, it's too many. Uh, and it also, I think, depends on the person. Like our pastor, great pastor. His son was a pastor, but went somewhere else. Um,
Yeah, I think you're getting into the weeds of my point. My point is like the church and what it's become with these mega churches with thousands and thousands and thousands of people and all over the world, and they don't know, the pastor does not know the people that are attending their church.
there's this
There's
church
not
here.
a community.
It's called the Christian House of Prayer, and it was a little nothing church. It was like I think it was in like the mall, one of the strip malls. And the pastor there, his name was uh, Holcomb, and it was a nice guy. And when they first started, I was a kid, and I've had like huge tragedies, right, in my life. Every time I have a huge tragedy, I bump into this guy that day or the day after or something like that. It's very weird, but super nice guy. And but his church grew to where now it was like mega mega church, almost culty, all black people. Maybe now there's some more white people, but uh, pretty much in this area it was like the black church, all black people, probably a couple thousand. Um, but I knew the guy from when I was a kid, and he was a young pastor. And like every time I'd run into him, he's like, "How you doing, Sean?" I'm like, "Well, my house just burned down yesterday, actually." Oh my, it was there's always something. And then he would like pray with me, and he would stop what he's doing. I was delivering pizza after my house burned down. Um, but like I went to me and my wife, we went to I said, I want to go to Christian House of Prayer. Everybody was like, "What are you doing here, Whitey?" It was very weird. I told him. Um, so he did like a whole sermon. He's like, "Come next week." He did a whole sermon about it. But anyway, it's gotten to it's weird the past 15 years. If I run into anyone, because they call him Bishop, they call him Bishop Holcomb, all the people in his church, and they're very proper, almost like Muslim proper. And I always say, "Oh yeah, I love Nate, good guy." Are you talking about the bishop? I mean, they get pissed when I call him Nate, but I call him by his first name. And I was like, "Yeah, Pastor Holcomb, Bishop Holcomb." I mean, it's very odd how this church has changed when it went to that mega. It's not him having it's his flock having the deification of the guy.
Yeah.
It's
But,
little weird.
yeah,
Little weird.
several churches have, yeah, can change through the time. And that's where, I mean, what was his name? Francis Chan. His church went through kind of a situation like that. Like it grew faster than he's a great speaker, great man, and believer. And his church grew super fast, and then it became something he never intended, and what he didn't God was leading
Mm-hmm.
him to lead. And so he stepped away from it. and he just walked away from it. And people were like, what are you doing? This seems to be like growing. Wouldn't you think that's God's will? And he's like, no, it's becoming its own thing. It's not, I don't feel like I'm glorifying God. I don't feel like I'm, people aren't hearing God's word. They're seeing this monster that's growing, this thing that it's becoming something else, not God's word. And so he stepped away from it. And I had so much respect for him of stepping away from something that was becoming, the mega church and what most would see as success,
Yeah,
he saw as a distraction.
Yeah, there's like, this is the private school, this is Christian House Prayer, CHOP. You got to go to CHOP. Private school, they have like 2 big churches, one clean, one cove. So it's like massive, but it's weird because it started from a old drugstore, that they rented out.
Yeah, a lot of them start that way.
So it's just odd to see. It's like the flip side of the mega church, just how everybody's, and like, it's just, he's a guy, he's a nice guy,
Yeah. Don't get distracted because it's not him. You're supposed to be keeping your eyes on God, not that person. Yeah, and the message. Yeah, no, for sure. Maybe we all should revisit that. Well, I got to wrap up here pretty quick.
Yeah, let's wrap it up
for dinner. But we're looking at, today is Tuesday. We've got one more day before the new year, before we hit the 88.
Yeah. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Hope everyone has a good New Year's Eve.
And a safe New Year's Eve.
Watch the ball drop. I got 2 dogs to kiss this time. Usually just have one dog to kiss, but
you're also doubling down on 2025. Yeah, there were some strange things about the ball. I think I'm going to go into that with hopefully. Well, I don't know if my buddy will be able to
the ball
woo with me tomorrow night or not. Yeah, there's 589 light bulbs for the
crystal made of Schwarzschild crystal.
Yeah, but it has light bulbs in it as well, and it's the infinity ball, which is the 88, which we've been talking about, and 589 is the law that just went through, or it's not a law, it's the act or whatever that caused the silver thing where they had to like come up with the physical delivery on the COMEX. There's a bunch of comms with the 589. It's everywhere right now, and so I thought it was interesting.
Like chicken. He's everywhere.
Yeah. So we may be talking about that tomorrow with Skullcap Savant. Hopefully he'll be able to have some time. But I will let you guys know. And hopefully everybody will have a happy new year. And be safe and well. And stay home, people. Just stay home. All right. Take care.
Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.